Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So here we are back in the final stages of doing the 9.3 Pontiac build. And here's the housing, it's been painted, it's ready to go. So the last thing I got to do is, with this modern thicker paints, I've found it helpful to go back after I'm done. I meant to tape them up and I forgot to do it. But a good habit whenever you're reusing any bolt is to go back and run a dye down it and clean the threads, thread chase it. And I'm going to go ahead and do that to all the differential bolts and then do the housing ends. And then we're ready to put this thing together. You see, like that one right there, that top thread was a little messed up. This one step right here saves a lot of trouble. Like they always say, any 5-minute job's a broken bolt away from being a 3-day affair. So always clean your threads, chase your bolts, however you want to put it. I won't bore you doing all of them, but we're going to do the center section bolts and then we're going to do the housing end bolts. I got to get the center section in it, get the axles in it, vent tube back on, and then I'm going to take it back to its owner. He's got somebody else that's going to do the whole bottom of the car. I just got to finish it up so I can transport it, keep the dirt out of it. They'll be mounting the brakes. It does have, we are going with 4-wheel disc aerospace brakes on this one. And I got them behind me in a box over here. And I like to do these center sections with that same Permatex Aviation, and nobody's sponsoring this video. I like to do the Permatex Aviation sealer just like I do on most everything else. Timing covers lots. You see me use it in the FE video. You see me use it some in the 408 video series. This is just good stuff. And this is actually what I seal up all my 9s with. I've had a few where the customers actually heart set requested that I use black RTV. And I have done that a time or two. And it's done okay, but I still prefer to do it this way. And I'll go ahead and coat the housing here. And get a good ring around each bolt. And this is actually the bottom of the housing. I've got it upside down on the sawhorses here. So I'll put a little extra up here just to make sure it's good and coated below the oil line. Particularly, I want it sealed good everywhere, but especially there. So now I got to go take the gasket and coat it. I'll be right back. So here I am brushing the gasket down. Let me get one coat on there and let the paper absorb it a little bit. There we go. So now I got to go get the center section. There. Now a few of you have been asking me what I'd use for information to build this. I am fortunate in that I have some old motor manuals. This was for when he ordered the parts from Fabcraft Metalworks, and I'll show it to you here in a minute. He ordered their 9.3 Olds Pontiac manual to go along with the parts he ordered. And it's got a lot of stuff in it that my motor manuals don't cover. You know, the how-tos, the hot rodding, the improvements. Motor manuals are good for just a basic rebuild and overhauling the rear end, repairing the rear end, that sort of thing. I got to run these down and then I'll torque them up. I gotta look the torque up real quick. I forgot to do it before I got started here. But as you can see, I'm working on the crisscross pattern. Just like you've seen me do a million times if you've been following the channel on lots of other things. Okay, now that I've run them all down, now we'll torque them. It says 35 to 45 foot-pounds, so I'll split right in the middle like usual and go with 40. Now we'll just walk around it, make sure we didn't miss any. Nope, that's where we started. So it's all back together. All torqued. Now I got to put the axles in it. Axles in this one are 33 spline Mosers. We did go with the modern 5 on 4 3/4 bolt pattern, so you can use modern Chevy wheels on it. I do have a set of aerospace brakes to go on the black car and another project car here that we're working on. So one or both of them will become a build series or an installation series on the channel. Okay, so I have ran into a hitch in the get along that I haven't hit before. These two bolts right here are sticking through. They hold the emergency brake actuator lever in place, and I don't want to take this assembly apart. So I'm going to take the die grinder and reach in here and nip them off right quick, and then we're going to be ready to put these on. Okay, safety glasses on, since I've had some comments about that, and I know I don't get in front of the camera, but maybe if we get the views up higher, maybe I'll get in front of the camera at some point. Now if I had a small round burr instead of this, a small flame burr or small round ball burr that I could run as fast as this grinder goes, then I could just reach right down here and go bzz, and take it right out. Yeah, grinder noise. Bzz. So, but instead I'm gonna have to take it from two different angles. And again, I got to come in from that second angle. I'm not going to fire the air compressor up and blow this off right now. But there it is. And now we're low enough we can get in there, and we haven't taken any integrity off of the bolts. So I won't bore you while I do the other one, because it's got the same situation. I'm sure somebody's ran into this before, but that's only the second time I've ever had to modify something on a set of these aerospace brakes that wasn't listed in the paperwork. So maybe I've been lucky, but we've put on a lot of them. In. Your axle bearing will actually go through this hole. Then they have this little retainer plate with a lip on it. The lip goes down inside of this hole. It keeps your bearing in place. All right, let's back this up a little bit, and here we go. You gotta give it a tap. It'll go right on. So now I can snake the axle back in. Okay, axle's ready to go in. Let me line you up a little bit better here. All right. I'm just going to proceed to tap it in. Okay, so this is the hardest part of this. There's no hole in this axle flange. So you got to come up through the bottom and work the nuts in onto the studs as best you can. And then don't forget your red Loctite. So this is probably going to take me about a half hour. So I'm not going to sit here and film the whole thing and drive you all crazy doing it. But I'll take a few clips out of it along the way. So we'll wrap some paper around it. And once you get it started, it's not that bad. There, and then we can feed the Loctite in from there. Alright, so I got one in. Now let's see if we can do another one. Okay, there's two. I'm probably gonna have to move the camera to get the other side over here. Okay, so it's a half hour later, give or take. It took me about 23 minutes actually. And I'm going to run around one more time. And make sure everything's tight. All right, and it is. Now, for those that are wondering about how the emergency brake works, look it up a little bit. Here's your cable stop. So your cable comes through here and it's got a lock on it. The sheath stays here. The cable comes over and hooks around this. And when you pull the cable, it just expands the shoes. They grab inside the hat, just like any other modern car. Now, once the caliper's on, there'll be a little braided stainless steel line here going to a stainless steel brake line, metal line, going over here to the original brass block. But there it is. This is how I'm going to leave it. I'm going to pallet it up. That way we don't have to worry about the calipers getting hung up and all. It'll be a little bit lighter to move it. Not that there's anything light about it. And we can move it without scratching it, because it's got a nice shiny paint job on it, as you can see. And I want to keep it that way. And then once we get it in the car, or once my client gets it in the car, I'll go over and take some shots of it. Okay, for those that have been asking, the axles in this build I got from the guys over at Mosier. They're not sponsoring this video in any way, shape, or form. But I use their axles all the time. I use their rear ends. And just for the sake of clarity, Speed Oasis, my speed shop, is a Mosier dealer. Also, I've had some questions asked about the information to build this differential, rear end, however you want to put it. I have a fairly, well, I wouldn't say large. I've got a good spread of the old motor books, motor manuals that cover a lot of this older stuff that I work on. So I have the technical resources for it. I also used this book from Fabcraft Gears. You guys out there are awesome. I can't say enough about them. I promised them I wouldn't show any pictures inside the book, but you can buy this on their website, Argell McCall, and it talks in depth about this differential, what parts swap, the period in which they were built, from early to the middle design to the late design. Got a lot of tips and tricks in there that are not in the motor manual for modifying them for high performance use. Like the clearances I set this one at. It's slightly different than a 9-inch, which is slightly different than an 8 3/4 Chrysler, but they're all pumpkin or removable center section rear ends. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the build series. I got to get it crated up and delivered. I think I already said that. As always, practice your skills, learn a new one. Either way, turn them into craftsmanship. You never know how far they'll take you. So until next time, this has been Fab Race Mod Repeat. Have a great day.